So we asked online whether there were some questions that people had at this halfway point through the year, and we got a bunch of interesting responses. One of the questions was really about new writing and emerging writers, and asking whether or not there were enough emerging writers in the National Theatre Wales programme, or whether we were in danger in a way of working with the usual suspects, with people who were already established. I think my answer to that is that it is important for us to work with people at a wide level of points in their careers. I was really pleased that in this first year we were able to commission two relatively up-and-coming writers, Beth Ann Marlowe and Rhiannon Cousins, to work alongside two other emerging artists, Carl Morris and our own associate Catherine Pascal, to create The Beach, which of course was a piece of work in itself in an emerging form, interactive, game-based theatre. The other writers that we've commissioned, Kate O'Reilly, Gary Owen, Alan Harris and Owen Shears, are more established in their various ways, but again, I think at very different points in their writing lives. And one of the things that I do want to keep doing is bringing in people like Owen, who are writing in forms other than theatre, and getting them to write for theatre, often for the first time. I think there's a more serious point behind the question, though, as well, which is how do we become part of a whole culture of developing new writers and new artists in general. And there have been some things that we've been doing so far. We've created what we call a go-see policy, whereby staff at National Theatre Wales make a really concerted effort to go out and see new work by emerging companies. And we've really seen an awful lot of new writing in particular that's bubbling up in Wales through companies that have often been started by the writers themselves. Obviously, that's not us producing them, but it is us getting to know writers and thinking about who we could work with in the future. Also with other artists, such as directors, our Emerging Directors programme has been one of the big successes, I think, of the year so far. We offered 6 places for emerging directors and a bursary for each of them of £2,000 to come along and be part of the creative process of each for one of the shows that we're doing. So those shows included working with me on Good Night Out in the Valleys and Love Steals Us from Loneliness, working with Paul Hunter on Dark Philosophers, working with Mike Pearson on Persians, and in the new year working with Rimini Protocol on our show in Aberystwyth. So great opportunities there for emerging artists, and I'm very confident that some of those emerging directors that we work with will end up working with and directing future National Theatre Wales shows. Also, it's about creating forums like the Assembly, where in a much shorter period of time we can work with artists who may be at earlier stages in their careers. However, I agree that there needs to be still more, and one of the things that I'm doing at the moment is trying to fundraise for a kind of laboratory side of National Theatre Wales that would allow more artists, and particularly more emerging artists, to try ideas out and to work with us to explore things that could be productions in the future, either for us or for other companies. So watch this space in terms of getting that more laboratory side of National Theatre Wales up and running.